version 2 of this rebuild, because version 1 seems to have closed this window right now. I'm not saying this Super Bowl run isn't going to be a big window with a general manager in Brad Holmes and a head coach like Dan Campbell. You have a window, but they have to graduate from this version. They didn't get it done in this 3-year span, and so now who do they pay and how much? Just want to see what's going to be the first steps of version 2 of this rebuild.
All right, sunglasses action. So Dan Orlovsky said he wants to see what's year, kind of. I would say he really said the rebuild's like the rebuild, but just see where, I wouldn't say refurbish, to see where they take this ship at as far as after missing the playoffs, or people would say it was a failed season. And this was, gotta understand, this was a team that, they thought was going to miss the Super Bowl or miss the playoffs. And, Vegas was right, and they did. Tough schedule, questionable quarterback play. For a lot of people believe that. Solid quarterback play, but not what you need to be a perennial contender every year. And even perennial contenders, you look at Patrick Mahomes, only can take so much. And that's just what it is. But that's the thing about it. Where do they go with it now? And a lot of their questions is just, since they got there, it's just been injuries. It's just literally been injuries. If they can answer the bell on injuries, if they were healthy, they would probably have at least 2 Super Bowls. If they just didn't have the situation where guys were dropping like hot fries. So, but really you look at it and it's just, I think the number one thing you got to do is, hey man, durability. This isn't a one-off. This has been going on for 5 years. This is a consistent trend. What are we doing right now not to be the most healthiest versions of ourselves as the Detroit Lions? You must ask yourself, what are we doing to put ourselves in a situation where we're just constantly trying? Are we hitting too much in practice? Are we drafting guys that's broken up? Are we doing those things? Okay, let's put a premium on durability. Let's put a premium on guys that haven't had major injuries, that guys that's been on that Ripken list, that's been 100% healthy. Brad Holmes got to get away with that. I love injury-prone players because I got injured in my career. That shit got to go. It's killing the team. Okay, how are we going to answer the bell from the interior offensive line is a great question. How are we going to answer that bell? How are we going to flip it? Do we sit here, play Frank Ragnow, get him prepared, or do we march into the future? Hey, Tate is going to be our guy. At right guard to left guard, let's figure it out. Right, left guard, let's figure this shit out. I'm with that, then also you got to worry about the left tackle. You got to worry about the left tackle position possibly, and that been needed to. Taylor Decker, respectfully, probably been needed to go. He probably been needed to go. He been needed to go. So, that's just my opinion on it. But, it's just, I don't think it's a complete rebuild. I mean, you're not going to move on from Jared Goff. And a lot of the key guys, like I said, they always go back to injury. You pay some guys and they got injured. I mean, most of these guys have been, fairly, durable. It happens. But some of the guys you pick, destroyed this team. Rackstraw, Terrion Arnold, they just can't stay on the field, let alone to improve. So Rackstraw, Terrion Arnold, you go, Kirby got put in the blender. He got injured. He was injured a couple, but he usually make it through the season. BB went down. He had a horrible year, topped off by injuries. I know, did he? Yeah, I mean, it's not too much of a surprise. Then, you look and, you phase out David. There's a lot going on. They need to be structured. You phase out David Montgomery. Why you phasing in a new offensive coordinator? It was too many transitions. You transition from an offensive line, from an interior offensive line, and possibly, you transition away from a left tackle. It has to happen. The Lions offensive line can be so much better with a better left tackle. Taylor Decker is so unathletic and so stiff, respectfully. So they have a lot of questions to be had. But cleaning up that interior, getting these injury-prone players, getting all these bad injury guys off your squad, that's the number one thing they need to be doing. Whether it's getting rid of guys like Mekhi Wingo, Josh Pascal, Levi Onwuzurike, Ennis Rackstraw, Terrion Arnold. Some of them motherfuckers you gotta just cut the bait. You gotta just cut the bait with some of those guys. Marcus Davenport. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a lot of questions as far as what direction they going with drafting. Now, a lot of people look at the draft and be like, whoa. They look at it right now. A lot of times you draft for the future. Tyleik Williams, he ain't did. A lot of them guys that was on the defensive line that was drafted right around that, all through the first round, they ain't did shit last year. They ain't did shit. All through that first round last year, them dudes ain't been productive. But Rome wasn't built in a day. Abdullah Carter, Shamar Stewart, James Pierce, Mike Green, ain't none of them did shit. So that's the crazy thing about it. So just cleaning up the injuries, putting together a good offensive line. A lot of these guys, Cologne, that a shot guy, a lot of them guys need to be gone. I'll be real with you. A lot of them guys, they get injured, they can't play. A lot of them guys you need to just get rid of. You want to keep rolling with Manu Giovanni because that's what you spent a lot of capital on him. I'm not mad at it. Miles Frazier, Tate Ratledge, Christian Mahogany, he need to stay healthy. Penny Sewell. Other than that, it's time to build. Time to build with other guys. And I think the finances need to probably go to the best left tackle you can find, whether that's via the draft, via free agency, via trade. Clean it up. Defensively, yeah, they need another pass rusher. But you need the right pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? You need the right guy that's gonna help Aiden Hutchinson out. So hopefully they can find that guy. But he fairly cleaned this team up pretty fast. Only reason it wasn't faster and they haven't reached their goals the way they should have reached their goals was simply because of injuries. I'm gonna keep saying that. Injuries have been the reason why Kendall Vidor was in that game versus the 49ers for that shit to even happen. So I think people just don't understand, like, injury, let's get durable. He's done things in a very short amount of time. He's cleaned this roster up pretty good. They was a playoff team the second year. Truth be told, they were a playoff team in the second year. And just that everybody started dropping like hot fries. That's all it was. That's all it was. So, that's it. So, but yeah, we'll see the reconstruction but a lot of guys, man, they shouldn't be allowed to come back. A lot of these guys shouldn't be allowed to come back. So, but Merry Christmas. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, a lot of them guys, they just didn't need to come back. If I fix this thing. So that's just my opinion on it. Everybody got their own opinion. But he got to clean that up. That shit becomes contagious, dog. When you sit here and you get these guys that's religiously injured. When you get these guys that's religiously injured, that wears on the team. That shit becomes contagious. And I don't think people realize that. You know, back in the Bible, you know, people got leprosy. Wasn't that shit highly contagious? So the next part of that rebuild, it's not even a rebuild. It's just cleaning up your mistakes. Can Brad identify and Dan identify their mistakes? And maybe they can't. Maybe they can't. Maybe they can't. Maybe they can't. But they got to get more durable. You know, and defensively, the only thing they was lacking was durability. How can you get Rackstraw better? How can you get Arnold better? And every time they get the rolling, they get injured. Quinyon Mitchell been solid for the Eagles. So I said I wanted Quinyon Mitchell. No disrespect to Terrion Arnold. But maybe they drafted Quinyon, he would have been broken up too. It's just their habits. But if they can fix this durability issue, getting guys more durable, not practicing and hitting this hard. You know what I'm saying? Get that offensive line in shape, and find a help him with a pass, and preferably the type of pass rusher the Lions need is somebody with speed. They don't have nobody that can run. And that front seven, man, only guy that can truly probably run is Derek Barnes. But they don't have nobody that can run. James Pierce would have been good, but obviously he didn't have a good year in Atlanta. So it's going to take him a little time to get his feet. They need somebody that can run. They need somebody that's electric. That's the difference between Micah Parsons. The way Parsons get off and he closed that gap. The way he closed that gap is tremendous. Hutchinson don't close that gap like that. Nobody on the line, they just a bunch of slow. Even when you have Pascal, slow. Davenport was supposed to be that athlete, but he can't. I mean, he trash. I mean, that's just what it is. Respectfully, he trash. You need somebody that's going to close that gap. So that should be their number. No more of these big, slow motherfuckers on the defensive line. Even in the middle, they don't even have a defensive lineman that really can penetrate and get jiggy in the middle. Aleem McNeil was masquerading as that, and that's how he got his contract. But that ain't what he do. They don't have no true, real, freaky athletic, 3 technique. Everybody just big and slow, other than Hutch. Everybody big and slow. They need somebody that's gonna bring that juice. Somebody that got speed. Somebody that's gonna close that gap. You see Parsons make all the difference for the Green Bay Packers. The way he's able to close that gap is phenomenal. That's what you need. They had nobody on this team that could really close that gap. They just like slow people, bro. They just a slow team, to be honest. They've done a better job this year with scheming up, with mobile quarterbacks, but they need more speed, bro. If you're going to replace Alexander Zoney, get up a modern linebacker like Levante David or somebody that can run. You're going to find a defensive end. Don't bring another slow guy here like Josh Pascal. No, you need somebody that can get the passer that can run. They need guys that can run. And that's been the number one issue for the Detroit Lions with this regime too, outside of the things. They need people on defense that can run. Even their corners are not that fast. Ain't nobody out there running a 4-3 at their cornerback position. Ooh, they all fucking slow. Well, I ain't gonna say slow, but they not, fast. They need speed, bro. That's where they lack at, especially in that front seven. If they move on from Arizona, they need a guy that can run. They need a guy that can run. When they find another defensive end, they had the right idea in Marcus Davenport from his athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? But he just ain't a good football player. You can just look at his position. They got a nose ring and shit. Man, how you on the defensive line? You got a fucking nose ring. Like, you ain't, man, get off my team. Got a fucking nose ring. I know Tupac had a nose ring too, but he just, his whole position just screamed. You know what I'm saying? His whole, like, I mean, like his stature just, like his well-being just seemed like, I don't really give a fuck. You know, like, I really don't care. That's what it gave. So, but there are things they gotta fix. So I don't really think it's gotta be and I get what he was saying. He don't really want to use the whole rebuild, but yeah, well, what are they gonna be next? Some guys, some guys is injured that should not be allowed to come back. Some guys that are retired that probably will retire, that will move on. How you gonna fill those holes? How you gonna develop Sonoy Vaki, Isaac Tesla, Manu Giovanni? So how you gonna develop some of these guys you put capital in? How are you gonna find roles for them? Okay, you moving on from David Montgomery. Okay, what's up with Vaki then? You drafted him, safety / special teams player / running back. You drafted him to be a running back. Okay, David Montgomery getting the fuck up out of here. Craig Reynolds got the hell up out of here. What we gonna do now? You got some German Shepherds on his corner. Yeah, this car's shot. I ain't gonna lie, German Shepherds scare me. They bite, man. They get you. That German Shepherd grab my ass. That's my pleasure. Friday. But yeah, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's what it is, man. But it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be real interesting. So, it was 8 a.m. The police are already out. What is it? 9 something. Police don't bullshit. I'm in the city. So I'm in the city of Compton. So we shall see what is happening. But yeah, man, it is what it is. Shout out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, Christians notifications. We go live with your video. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist, more videos like this. Peace.